Shalom, Lord Christ Israel, Speech and Officer of 500 Katab at ISUPK Detroit. And this is your ISUPK Sabbath service. Please take a minute to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment. Push this truth. If we don't do it, guess what? Nobody else will. Can't expect anybody else to push this truth. Not them purple pigs, not the Christian church, not the mosque, none of your worldly idols push this truth. Getting started in just a moment, so lock. Ayashala. Hebrew, Abanawa, Ash, Ah, Ah, Al. Father, which are as we not into power and glory forever, so be it. That's the power. Power. Sorry. Touch. Mafia. Arawakawa. Allah. That's the power in the English. Power. Please give us the power. Power to heal sickness, all manner of disease. Spirits. Ah, thank you so much. Blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah. Amaika Allah. Allahayim. Ma'abia. Alawat Yahan. Alawapian. Watazayanin. Oyin. Akwake. Akwakian. Awa. By Shimi Yahweh Shah. Psalms 121, Hebrew. Al-Hahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Asaria, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Asha, Shemayim, Waharatazah, Ayathan, Wat, Gorkai, Morkai, Ah, Ah, Yahweh, Morkai, Awa, Gorkai, God, Conquer, God, Waharat, Morkai, Orat, Oscar, Awa, Oscar, Oscar, Ma'athai, Psalms 121 in the I will lift up my eyes into the hills. Cometh my help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. Suffer thy foot to be moved. Not slumber. Oh, keepeth Yasha'Allah shall neither slumber nor sleep. How is thy keeper? How is thy shade upon thy right hand? Sun shall not smite thee by day, moon by night. How shall preserve thee from all evil. So, how shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, forth and even forever. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew, Al-Ayah, Why? Abika, Ayawan, Al-Ani, God, Tazwa, Al-Tazwa, Orion, Boya, Azakar, Yashala, Kai, Kai, Tazwa, Ba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Ka, Rathwa, Oya, Abba, Wahagarian, All, Alasha, Sabia, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalai, Ain, Haifa, Madian, Asara'a, Abian, Bakar, Ashwan, the mind, La Emma, Arab, Al Nasir Kama, Moria, Rasha, Fa, Ah, Ah, Orgula, Ira Yaira, Atka, Ah, Oyawon, Ah, Yaoyaman. Psalms 83 and not thy silence, hour, hold not thy peal, hour, off from Ishmaelite, Moab, Agarenes, Baal, and Ammon, and Amalek, Philistines, inhabitants of Tyre. Shores also was joined with, open the spot, doing to them. Then at Kazan, perished at end and like Z, and princes as Zeba and Una, who take to ourselves houses of Yahweh in possession. O Yahweh, make them like will as the stubble before the wind. Fire burneth the wood, mountains on fire, persecute them with that, make them afraid with that, fill their faces. O Yahweh, found it in trouble forever. Yea, shame, perish. Then may know that thou alone is Yahweh, art the most high of all the earth. And you see, all right, Israel, let's get it. Picking up in the book of Exodus, still in the 21st chapter. We're going to be picking up at the 23rd verse. If you've just been tuning in, just as a short recap, I actually just fast forward from a further distance back. We have a people that was in captivity, children of Israel. They were in captivity in Egypt. They were freed. Most High God, Yahweh, through the prophet Moses. And at that time, they went through various trials, and the Most High delivered them out of those various trials. And of army of the Egyptians, part in the Red Sea, to beating them in the wilderness, taking the land, or going areas that the Most High leading them through just to get to the promised land. At this, children of Israel to follow and obey all, and they did that, understanding that they would do that through the man, prophet Moses. As to glory, simple man. We'll listen to you. Get into this if then. I will do this. That's the most. Now we're getting into all of the laws. Or when you get precept, those benefit of the nations, like nations will rise and great. Small hat man. Today he's keeping, attempting to keep our laws. He's benefit from the idea of us doing the things that we should do. They're separate from us. They have their own hospital, their own communities, their own ambulance, have their own systems, period. Integrate, stayed separate, and then found the nation. Integrate. See a lot of these nations, they come over here and you see they have Spanish Harlem, community at have the other cultures, have Chinatown, Greek town. And these are areas that they're not going. And them in every major city. area that's dominated, predominantly owned and ran by them. See them knocking on the door, White House to vote. They know what to do. They band together and push their agenda. Deal with some of them here, some of them there, some of them there. Now all of our forces and resources is scattered among other nations. I say, no, you should come together. Better your people restaurant than nation's restaurant. Failed at that. We did that. Our communities were the number one. That's when we did that. If I'm not mistaken, that was during a time where America was in a Great Depression. Our dollar was successful. That's why they hated our cities. I go off. All right, so this is the book of Exodus, chapter 21, and we're going to be starting at in Hebrew. Exodus chapter 21, verse 23 in the Hebrew. Wa'amah, Asawan, Yaha Yaha, Wanatha, Thaha, Napash, Thakath, Napash, verse 24. Ayan, Thakath, Ayan, Shana, Thakath, Shana, Yada, Thakath, Yada, Regal, Thakath, Regalah, like it, Regal, verse 24. Kawayaha, Thakath, Kawayaha, Patazai, Thakath, Patazai, Kaba, Wara, Thakath, Kabawa, Ha, like it, Kaba, Wara, verse 26. Wakaya, Yakaha, Ayash, Ath, Ayan, Ibadwa, Iwa, Ath, Ayan, Imawath, Imathawa, Salakia, Shakatha, Akap, Shawa, Shaya, Yasha'a, Kathan, Wa, Thakath, Ayan, Yawa, like it, Anyamwa, verse 27, Wa'ama, Shana, Ibadwa, Awa, Shana, Imathwa, Yapa, Yala, Baka, Pashu, Ya, Gash, Gash, Yesha, Lak, Nawa, Akath, Shanwa, verse 28. Wakawa, Yagaka, Shawawa, Ath, Ayash, Awa, Ath, Asha, Math, Aqua Wala, Asaqua, Ashawara, Wala'a, Yashaka, Lake, Aka, Ath, Basharawa, Baal, Hashara, Nakwaya, 9, Ba'ama, Sha'ara, Nagaka, Ba'ara, like it, Hawa'a, Sa, Mala, Shala, Shum, Waha, Wa'id, Baba'il, Yala, Yawa, Bala'a, Yashamar Nawa, Hamayath, Ayash, Awa, Asha, Hiwara, Wasaqua, Bagama, Ba'il, Ba, Bamath, and that's up verse 29 in the Hebrew. English. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, starting at verse 23. And if any mischief follow, thou shalt life for life. This is just coming off of two men striving. The rib that he had hurts, gets hurt in that fight. She was pregnant. That fruit depart from her. They gave a punishment for that. Shall follow, then thou should give life for life. So anything that happens after that should be life for life. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. 25. Burning for burning, stripe for stripe. 6. And if a man smite the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go for eye's sake. So if he damaged this servant's eye, that servant should go free for that sake, for the eye's sake. Verse 27. And if he smite out the manservant's tooth, maid servant's tooth, he shall let him go for tooth's sake. So these are the stipulations of what happened if you do those things. So you're just beating on your manservant or your maid servant, knock your tooth out, and you knock the tooth out. Guess what? Let's say he has 7 years left on that agreed upon work contract. You got to let him go for free. What I mean for free is you got to pay that out. Like, if he was in debt $50,000 and he was gonna work out 7 years, guess what? That's canceled because you knocked out his tooth. Like that puts a guideline on how you should treat brothers. Like the so-called pink man, they held this book and didn't follow these guidelines when that was taking place and when we were in captivity. Verse 28, if an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, the ox shall be surely stoned and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be acquitted. That goes back into if that ox kills or a man, that ox has to die and the flesh shouldn't be eaten, meaning you're not going to participate or benefit or reap any rewards from flesh of that animal. Like usually when an animal is died, it gets to a certain point, flesh, you use that. But no, you're not going to be. But the owner of the ox should be equipped, meaning he's not going to be. Verse 29, but the ox will want to push with his horn in time past, has been testified to his owner, not kept him in, have killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner shall be also put to death. When it says in times past, that means if he got out and got on a rampage and did this before, and then his owners didn't do what he was supposed to do to keep him in, to keep this secure, he goes out and he kills a man or a woman. Now that ox has to be stoned and put down to death. And then guess what? The owner has to be put down too, because it was the owner's negligence that allowed that animal, that ox, to get out and kill another man or a woman. Like it was him basically doing it because he known that has happened before. But if it happens one time, that's what you call an accident. He's acquitted. But it happens multiple times, and then that animal was known to do that in time past. Yeah. Now you have to be held responsible. So this is the wisdom that we have in this Bible I gave us when we follow these laws. And then you have the pink man and their court system mimic these. And then you look at them and yield to them as they hold down judgment, but yet you sit there and say, oh, we can't judge you. Yet you allow the pink man to judge you every time you get a speeding ticket, pulled over for no insurance, every time you go to court, whether it's friend of the court, traffic court, federal court, you let them judge you. You let them send you down. They condemn you to whatever penalty that they see fit. And you take it. We say, hey, you shouldn't eat pork. Sin, the Most High gonna destroy you for that. Oh, you can't judge me. Okay? See. Check out Isaiah 66 and 17 and see if the Most High feels the same way. Christ comes back. Tell me what he's doing in that verse. Tell me. You give me the understanding of that verse. So smart. Because that's a prophetic scripture. And he's going to be putting to death all of those who eat swine's flesh and the abomination. You see that girl made that stew, put mice in it, something boiled and put mice in it, and then she swole up, bumps all on her neck, and she, I don't know what happened. I ain't going to do this. What did the Most High say? He's going to kill all of those, unalive all of those that eat swine's flesh and the abomination. That's what he's going to come back and do. But you're telling people they can do it now. They can go around and go ahead and do it. That don't make no sense. He told them not to do it. Then you said Christ died so you can do it. And then he told you that he's going to kill all those that continue to do it when he comes back. we get the proper understanding. So like it. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 30. Ama, Kapar, Yashatha, Salakia.
What verse you at? Verse 30. Exodus with the 21. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 30 in the Hebrew. Kapar, Wayashath, Al Yawa, Wanathan, Pada Yawan, Napashawa, Kakar, Ashar, Yawashath, Alawath. Verse 31. Aiwa, Bun, Yagaka, Aiwa, Bath, Yagat, Yagaka, Kam Shapat, Hazaha, Ya'ai, Shawa, Lawa. Verse 32. Ibad, Yagaka, Ashawar, Awar, Amma, Kasapar, Shalash, Shalashyam, Shakwa, Layawam, Yathan, La'ada, Nayawan, Waha, Sharor, Yasapakal, verse 33. Wakaya, Yapath Yaka, Ayasha, Bawa'ar, Awa, Kaya, Yakara, Ayash, Ba'ar, Wala'ah, Yakasa, Noah, Wana Pa'al, Shema, Shawa'ar, Awa, Kamwa'ah, verse 34. Ba'al, Abawar, Yashalama, Kasapar, Yasha, Yasha, Yaba, Laba, Layawa, Wahamath, Yaha, Yawa, It's like Yaha Yaha. Lawa, verse 35. Wakaya. Yagapar. Shawar'ar. Ayash. Ath. Sharayar. Ra'ai. Iwa. Mama'ath. Mamaka. Rawa. Ath. Hashawa. Hashawa'ar. Hakaya. Waka. Tazawa. Ath. Kasapawa. Wagum. Ath. Hamak. Yaka. Tazayan. Verse 36. Aiwa. Nawadai. Kaya. Shawa'ar. Nagaka. Ayawa. Ma'ath. Mawa'al. Shalashyam. Wala'ah. Shalaki. Yasha. Marar. Nawa. Ba'ai. Layawa. Shalom. Ya Shalom. Shawa'ar. The Kun. Asha Wa'ar. Wahamath. Yaha Wa'ah. Verse 37. Kaya. It was up to verse 36, Salaki. So up to verse 36, I read 7 verses. Salaki. I'm going to get it in English. Most High in Christ. Bear with me. Scripture in English. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21, and verse 30. It says, if there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Verse 31, whether he have a gored a son, or have gored a daughter, according to his judgment shall it be done unto him. 32, if the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master their 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. For the injury, right? That makes sense. Like in today's time, you get into a car accident, they gotta pay you money. Saying, and the other person can suffer not only paying the money but also jail time. Change. Was it 33? If a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, Verse 34, the owner of the pit shall make it good and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. They probably can't hear you because you ain't got
Salaki. So one of the things that we see here is if a man open a pit and an animal falls, that ox falls in, and that dead ox now have to be belong to, not now have to be belong. That ox has to be paid for. That ox has to get money for that. That dead ox is the person who opened that opened the pit. Meaning, you just bought yourself an animal. You might not even want it to, because of either your negligence or you might have did it on purpose on trapping, but you got to pay the owner and then you get the dead.
low key a harsh punishment right there. No, because you got to pay for what you done to someone else's property. You understand? You go and that animal gets unalive because it fell in that pit that you created. You had to pay the deed for it. It's only right, man. The Bible is so head on collision when it comes to making judgments and decisions. You go to the Bible firsthand to make judgments and to learn how to make better judgment in life. This is the book that you're supposed to go to, and to get the understanding, you have to go to the priest and the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge to get the proper understanding. Because the Lord put the spirit in this school. Right? So we're at 35. 35, and it says, and if one man's ox hurts another's, that he die. So if an ox unalive another person, hurt a person to the point where he's dead, deceased, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. All right.
So if you got two animals, or two different individuals, animals get into it, and then that one ox unalives the other person's ox, you gotta sell the live ox. They gonna split that money, and then you sell the dead ox, or then you divide the dead ox. You cut it down in half and say, well, let me get the legs and the head, and you take the body, however you divide it. But even though we might feel that some of these penalties are harsh, guess what? They're righteous judgments. These are righteous judgments that's going to turn us away from being wicked. Like, that's the only thing that works for some hard-headed and stubborn and stiff-necked people. Sometimes you just got to get that ride. Well, kind of a concept.
All right, it says in 36, or if it be known that the ox have used to push in time past, and his owner have not kept him in, he surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own.
Oh, I mean, that goes back to negligence. Time passed, that means that ox did it before. Our penalty, this is why the court of law feel like it's so righteous at times. Yes, when it works in your favor. but they took from us. This is your culture. They weren't smart enough to come up with righteous judgments. Pillaged from our book, painted it, made it their own, and you yield to them. But when we tell you, thou shalt do, shouldn't do this, penalty, thus saith the Lord, is this. Look at us like we're wrong. Like you got these rappers in your head saying you can't judge me, and they got you gassed up, goofy at the same time. Because guess what? Judgment will one way or the other.
So that's an actually heavy point too, because a lot of rappers that say that you can't judge me, if you look at the actions that you're doing, those actions actually do need to be judged because you're ignorant. The actions that you make as a grown man is so far and childish. Somebody gotta tell you to stop. Somebody have to do it. Somebody gotta say the decisions that you make is dumb. Like you gotta make better decisions. So the main people that say you can't judge me are the very people that needs to be judged firsthand. Firsthand. Because that judgment is gonna help you at the end of the day. Go ahead, brother.
And a lot of them are getting judged right now. Meaning a lot of them are going through court cases. Look at Puff Daddy. All of these different individuals that are being locked up. Look at all of these different individuals that are being locked up for the things that they've done. Yet now, in that time when they were feeling good, when they was on that Superman juice and they was spitting them hot bars, oh, you can't judge me. But now, oh, you standing in the court of law getting judged. R. Kelly was judged. Guess what? You got to live up to that now.
If I could, brothers and sisters would ask, say, first of all, this is the Old Testament. So how do those few verses you just read apply today, example of today, like that last one? Ox kills another man ox. But if it's known that ox is known to push under it out there, then this man takes on it. So how does that apply?
And we look at that as people had pit bulls. Like I got one of Kazak's creations. So, and if my yard isn't secure, and I got a red nose in my backyard, and the neighbors know my dog would dig holes and get under this certain part of the fence to get out and tear through and I never put stones or repair that part of the fence so he can't get out, then I'm negligent now. I have to pay damages that dog has done. And it's going to be a different amount or a harder stipulation than if it only happened one time before and it was an accident. This is something that has happened perpetual and I didn't do nothing about it.
You.
Kind of
The whole judgment and the whole matter would fall. Didn't see after the terrorizing that he was doing.
Dog, a lot of people have those lap dogs and little Pomeranians, and if my dog just running in people's front yards, backyards, and unalive their animals, guess what? That might be a $5,000 dog. I gotta pay for that. And then my dog, guess what? He's not gonna. I don't just get to keep my dog. He's not. I lose him. But they lose their dog, and I get to keep mine. That ain't fair. They gonna be looking at me across the street like, oh, I love my dog too, and his dog just unalive mine, and he can walk his dog still. And no, that's gonna cause some animosity between two neighbors, two brothers, and guess what? That might cause something in the future. So the Most High in His wisdom say, yeah, your dog gotta go too, and you gotta give that man restitution for that.
Those judgments is only right, man. And those judgments, you only find those judgments in the Bible. That's the only place where you actually find righteous judgment. I say righteous judgment, clear head on, dead smack makes sense. You have to get it from the Bible. You get it from any other institutions, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be pure. It's not going to be a righteous judgment. It's going to be to someone's opinion. It's going to only be limited down to an opinion. But when you use the Bible in its full potency, that's how you are able to make the proper judgments. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're able, you know what I'm saying, to disdain who's right and who's wrong. You know how to carry out these judgments and the level of punishment. The level of punishment. You learn all of these things in dealing with people righteously. Only way it's found is in the Bible and the scriptures. Proper teaching under the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge.
That's so heavy that you said that. When he said the level of how to deal with people, that is so heavy because just the other week we was going over that if two men strive together and you put one in the hospital for a while, guess what? You got to pay that man wages. Now the next time, wouldn't that give you some restraint that next time? If you didn't put a man in the hospital for a year, that man got a wife and kids. He used to make this. You got to uphold that. That's a law of brotherhood, but guess what? That is a righteous judgment that's going to teach you some restraint the next time. Well, instead of breaking his leg, I might just choke him out, real quick, and you know, he get his air back, and I'll calm him down that way. I didn't need to break his leg. I didn't need to go overboard. You see these videos now. You got a dude. It's 20 on 1, and a dude getting stumped out. That
And if I may, Bubba shot first of all, you know what I'm saying? If you see that you have power over another man like that, and you know what I'm saying, you have the potential to potentially harm and hurt him real bad, your first initial step should be not to hurt him real bad in the first place, because you could. Just because you can break somebody's nose, do that mean go break his nose? No. That don't mean to go break his nose, okay? But put him in full restraint. You might have to put him in a chicken wing and call the police until the police get there. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to, especially on your brothers, you don't have to always use, I call it brute force. You don't have to do that. That's what the oppressor does. The oppressor, he used a mentality of brute force. That's why there's so many deaths when it comes to the oppressor and his officers against so-called African Americans, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We always die because of the brute force. That's purposely done. You know what I'm saying? Because he can do this. Because he has the power to do it, he's going to do it. We should not act like animals and do what he do.
absolutely right, Ottawa, because like when we follow their example, look at what it leads us. Look at how we follow their example. We become more reprobate than them. Like we go all in their treachery, their whatever their customs are. We do that, and it doesn't give us the same. We don't get the same benefits. We the one that's gonna get pulled over. Bobby and Peter, they're gonna go home to Karen and Susie. You're gonna be locked up. You're gonna be under the jail. A knee might be in your neck for 8-9 minutes on camera while people are looking at you. Guess what? We not just gonna look though. We were ordered to do something different. Go ahead, brother.
Slightly, if I could, sir. That was just a heavy point you was bringing out when we don't get the same privileges. Videos coming up trying to use that same note above and beyond or brute force. Oppressor cop. Oppressors do it. They get time off, vacation time. But when they do it, tired. Oh, just real heavy, sir.
Those are those real life practical applications. That's why you come to the ISUPK for those knowledge. You see what the scripture says, and we're giving you those examples in real time. Like the brother just said, these cops, they're being made a swift example of. There's a basketball player right now. He's a pedo. Guess what? He's still playing basketball. His skin complexion like Paul Mooney said, he has the protection for the complexion for the protection though. But if it was one of us, guess what? We'd be under the jail. Like Kyrie Irving just shared a link to a video that's being sold on an already platform that exists. And he had to be suspended, penalized, and all of this. This guy is sleeping with little girls. And nothing. He's still making layups, still bringing in the dollars. Nobody is saying nothing.
It's like y'all gotta interview one more time, man. This is so heavy of a point that y'all saying. Y'all actually, you know what I'm saying, distinguishing between the two. You know what I'm saying? Like without the school, without the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, you don't have no choice but to think like your oppressor. And then you're gonna be confused because you're gonna go act out what you see your oppressor do. You're gonna feel like, well, I should be able to get leniency too. When in real reality, you go out and you commit those same crimes, because this is what they really are. They really crimes. Okay? It's just the oppressor is gonna get a lighter judgment always than a black man. Okay, so you and your ignorance, you're gonna try it and you're gonna find out the hard way that it's not gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for your sane being. It's not going to help you. So with that being said, you as a black man have to live differently. You're not allowed to act like an animal. You're not allowed to act like the oppressor. The oppressor is allowed to stab someone 108 times, and because they're intoxicated of weed, they get a slap on the wrist and they get probation. They don't even go serve a lick of prison time for it. Meanwhile, let you be intoxicated of weed and you stab someone 108 times, you is going under the jail. You going to jail for life. They don't care what you were subjugated with. This is a big difference, man. It's a big, huge difference. As a black man, you're not allowed, and the Lord would not allow you to live like that, first and foremost. This is how you know the Most High is real. Like, you got to think about those things. The so-called oppressor, he don't have judgments to be judged by right now. Okay, all he has, if he's an oppressor, if he's Caucasian, all he has is Caucasian people on his side that'll look at him and be like, this was just a common mistake. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna give him the slap on the wrist because that's their people. You know what I'm saying? You they already put you in slavery. They already made you a slave, and they don't even look at you like you're a human. You go try that, man, they are going to do something gruesome to you. They're going to give you like 45 life sentences. Something that's unheard of. They're going to throw a whole book at you, and they ready to do it at a drop of a dime. At a drop of a dime, they ready to throw you in life in prison for something. They don't even have to be something serious. They ready to throw you in life in prison for something. So, for your protection, it'll be wise as a black man to know that you're black. Know that who you are. Know your stipulations. The only way you can learn these things is in ISUPK. ISUPK is proven to be the protection of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It always will be, you know. And I just yield right.
Kind of.
Just one quick point so you can understand why this is happening. I'm not going to go get it, but if you go and study Psalms 147, 19 and 20. you'll find out that he gave you, black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native American, he gave you the law, statutes, and he didn't give it to any other people, and neither have they tasted his judgment.
And what's crazy is we got examples for days. Don't forget that swimmer, that Stanford swimmer, and the case is Peter versus Turner. You look at the New York Times, the Daily News. It tells you that he got a slap on the wrist for the sentence of rape. Like, he rapes a girl, and the judge says because they don't want his future to be so destroyed off of this one accident, guess what? He gets a slap on the wrist for rape. A mistake, a lapse of judgment at the time. But for a nickel bag of weed, you black man, guess what? You under the jail. Like, you can't even look at what happened to Emmett Till for the lie of just catcalling. Like, he said something to a woman he ain't even say nothing to. He was unalived, and she lived out her whole life and then told the truth and kept living. Yet you got people who still getting prosecuted for war crimes that happened to the quote unquote small hat Jews. They're being put in jail at 80, 90 years old. Guess what? Not you, black man. Guess what? No, you gotta forgive and forget. That's what they tell you, forgive and forget. As they continue to do it, though, that's the mind trickery. They're not gonna stop. You can read Zechariah 11:6. It tells you who oppressors slay you and hold themselves not guilty. You can't look at another nation and say, oh yeah, that applies to the Asians too. It doesn't. Don't lie to yourself. It doesn't apply to the so-called Hamitic, the so-called African people too. It doesn't. You don't see that happening to them, and they have the same complexion. Guess what? The Middle Easterns, it don't happen to them. They'll come over here knowing that they're terrorists, and guess what? They'll get every benefit of the doubt. Not you, black man. Not you, Native American. They know who you are, and they know who they are. Like, we read Psalms 83 every Sabbath day. They are confederate against thee. It tells you, it goes from the tabernacles of Edom, and it lets you know exactly who, and you see them in play today. This just wasn't something that was just for a period of time. This was something that was perpetual until we get our ish together.
That's so heavy and on point, brother. So heavy and on point. Because the Lord is not going to stop any of these judgments and any of these matters until black people finally realize that, hey, we are two different people. We gotta live completely different than these other people. Because black people, for some oddball reason, are still confused on why these things are happening, or why is this is an unfair justice system. Some black people don't even care. Hey, like, whatever, okay, it's unfair, it's an unjust system, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna try to live like an American and go. It's no more living for us. If you really pay attention, it's no more living for us, man. You know what I'm saying? It's death and destruction on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Like, when the Lord say that he cursed us, we really are cursed, man. Better go read what a curse is. That's something that just don't hop off of you. That's not something that you can just say, please let it go away, please go away, and it's going to go away. That's not what a curse is. A curse is something that you locked into for over hundreds of years. And it could never go away until you come back to the Lord, the one who put the curse on you. That's the only way a curse will be lifted off of you, is you go to the source of who put it on you. You pay attention to how he actually wants you to change and live. And that's when a curse get reversed. not going to be able to get no curse lifted off of you, man. You don't come into the ISUPK on the Commander Junior Honor. It's pretty plain. It's pretty black and white now. You know what I'm saying? We already improved it 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Time and time we prove it in classes. We bring out new information each and every week. New information. You understand? Like now you're choosing to stay cursed at this point. You understand? And that's all I got.
Kind of what kind. So with that being said, we just got to understand that Israel, there's a duty that we have. There's something that the Most High requires of us. And it's to be separate. And being separate, the only thing that makes us separate, holy, is these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how we become separate. If you do anything outside of these laws, statutes, and commandments, you just become just like them. You'll find yourself celebrating birthdays, Christmases, and every holidays. You'll find yourself eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You'll find yourself in the Christian church paying tithes to a pastor who wants a sixth plane when you need an oil change and can't afford it. Yet he wants his sixth. I can't even, it doesn't even sound right. Come a sixth plane. Right, like, do y'all get that? And y'all pack they churches Sunday after Sunday. And I understand why. Because they allow you to continue in your sin. If you live that alternative lifestyle, there's a church for you. If you like to eat everything you want to eat, there's a church for you. If you like to sleep with your brother's wife, hey, there's a church for you too. If you think you're an Israelite and you like to sleep with transvestites, there's a camp for you. They wear purple. Guess what? But if you want to walk that straight and narrow, that go through that straight gate, that narrow path that leads to life, you will come into the ISUPK under Commander Junior Honor. That's all that is. You got two choices. You can keep doing what you're doing and live that life, or you can get it together. There's a brotherhood behind you that'll help you get it together. We're not going to just sit back and allow you to keep sleeping with your brother's wives. Like, that's something that doesn't happen here. But if that's something that you want, go find you a camp for that. Lord be with you. All right. Y'all got anything else? Salakia, a correction. Correction. The Lord will not be with you. Salakia, my Lord is absolutely right. The Lord will not be with you if you go off and you start sleeping with another man's wife. You continue to spit in the Most High, the Son of the Most High. You spitting in Christ's face every time you do something like that. And you think that Christ died for you to continue to do that. That is disrespectful. And there's a punishment for that. I pray you understand, Cass. I pray you understand. That being said, we're going to go ahead and close out. Men of Israel, Majin. Ayashala. And salute the scroll.
How about Shimmy al Shabrak Ya?
Yabashim Yah Shabrak Yah.
How about Shem Yahushua Barak Yah?
Yabashim Yah Shabrak Yah.
Shabrak Yah.
The palm Yahakadam means turn face to east. What's prayer?
Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakbaka.
Apaka.
Ah.
Taba.
Aka.
Aka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Ah.
Asha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Ko.
Ah.
Hayah.
Ayah.
Basha.
Amlanao. Ah.
Kera.
Yawam. Laknao.
Was.
Wathnao.
Afnawa.
Kasalaknao.
Kas.
Wathyanao.
Kabu.
Ah.
Wala A.
Abayaanao.
Baba.
One.
One.
All.
A ball.
Shanao.
Aushanawa.
Mayan.
My.
Ra.
Ra.
Ka.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Aqua.
Wahal.
Wa.
Ataparat.
Wa. Ra.
Iwa. Iwa Lamyam.
Our which art in heaven, hallowed be thy
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
thy kingdom,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be
done.
in earth
Earth
as it
is in heaven.
Give us
Day.
our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us debts.
Forgive us our debts.
As we
Forgive our debtors.
lead us not into
Temptation.
but deliver us
But deliver
from
us.
evil.
Evil.
For thine is the kingdom
Thine is the kingdom.
and the power
And the power.
and the glory
Glory.
forever.
Forever.
So be it.
Touch the power.
Touch. Touch.
La
La Ra.
Kamakala.
Tamawa. Touch.
La Taha. Hamatazar. La Kach.
Touch.
La Hak. Kach.
Touch. Hashem Yahushua.
The one.
Aman.
In the name,
Power.
in the name,
Hashem Yahushua.
please
Power.
power
Power to heal.
all manner
All manner of sickness.
and all
All manner of disease.
the power to cleanse the leper,
Power to cleanse the lepers.
the power to raise the dead,
Power to raise the dead.
the power
Power against unclean spirits.
to cast them out.
Cast them out. Name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua. Wada Aman.
Bless and Yahushua
And Yahushua.
and Michael
And Michael.
and
the angels. And the
general captains, officers, troopers, and assistants. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you so.
Thank you so be it. Psalms 1. Lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my
Whence cometh my help? Help coming from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth?
which made heaven and earth.
He suffered thy
Do not suffer thy foot to be moved.
he
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he
he begot Yahweh,
shall neither slumber.
neither slumber nor sleep. How is thy keeper?
Yahweh is thy shepherd.
How is thy shade upon thy right hand?
The sun
Sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh
How shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil?
Shall
Preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve
How shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in? This time forth, evermore. I am
Men of Israel, Amajim, Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
How about Shim Yahushua Barakatah?
Yashamatah, dismiss.
All of them said.
Who I gotta get?